Hello my beautiful friends, welcome back to my channel. Today is a story time video. It's a story that, I really wasn't sure if I wanted to share it, and I really didn't know if I had the courage to share it because it's a pretty crazy story. But after a couple months, because it did happen about 2 months ago now, of thinking about it and contemplating, I decided that I am going to share it. And I'm sharing it because maybe my story can help someone, can empower someone. Maybe someone, can get something out of my story and I can help people with my story. So this is why I've chosen to share it. Plus, the thing about life is that life is so beautiful and so amazing, and I love life. But sometimes life is tough and hard things happen for all of us. And nobody's life is perfect. So this is also a reminder of that tough situations will arise in life and we have to just power through. Anyway, let's get into the story. A couple months ago when I was in Malawi on Likoma Island, and let me just say, it doesn't matter where this happened. This could have happened anywhere in the world. It does not make Malawi a scary place at all. I love Malawi. I had the best time there, and even after this happened, I continued to have the best time there. So it's definitely not about Malawi. This could have really happened anywhere. Funny enough, yes, it happened in Malawi, and no, it wasn't an African that I had this problem with. It was actually a foreigner who lives there. One of the craziest experiences of my life. Anyway, arrived to Likoma Island. Me and my travel buddy had arranged, he arranged with the owner of this guest house for us to go there and stay. When we arrived off the ferry, it was about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. By the time we got to the guest house, it was about 3. The owner, he wasn't there yet because he was at some party on the mainland, and so he was coming back from this party. The owner, who I'm not going to name because, again, this story isn't about naming someone. I'm not here to do that. I'm not trying to destroy anyone or ruin anyone. So we were alone there for almost 3 hours, but we went for a walk, got some snacks and drinks and all of that kind of stuff because the lodge or the guest house isn't fully open yet. It doesn't have a name. It's still finishing being built, but it's beautiful on the beach, stunning place. And while we were sitting there on the beach after we came back from getting our stuff, the owner, he had sent my friend a WhatsApp saying he's like off his face and hi and whatever else. I was just kind of like, okay, say Livy, doesn't matter, do what you want to do. Anyway, when he arrives, he sat down, he says hello to my friend because they had chatted over WhatsApp, and he looks over at me and he's like, and who the f are you? Now, I'm not going to swear because I don't like swearing on my channel, so I'm just going to say things like F. You'll get the point, you know what he was saying. But yeah, so who the F are you? And instantly I was like, wow, is this how you talk to a guest at your guest house? Is that how you treat them? Crazy. So immediately I was like put off. And yeah, I was like, wow, did he really just greet me like that? That's crazy. And then so a little while later, as we're sitting there, I had bought myself a little tiny bottle of vodka, one of those little miniature ones, because I wanted to enjoy a beverage on the beach because it was beautiful, the sun was setting. A little while later, he starts asking me questions, personal questions, like, are you single? The usual, when he's trying to see if I'm available for any sort of fun. And you know what? Again, let me just say, I'm also not saying I'm so beautiful and guys want me. Some people, I'm sure I'm their cup of tea. Other people, I'm definitely not their cup of tea. That's the way life is. But I work with what God gave me. That is what I have. But yeah, in this instance, I knew what he was doing. I knew what he was prying for. And no, I'm not available for you. As soon as I made that clear, I was sitting at his bar. He then put his foot on the bar right in my face. Directly in my face. He puts his foot and leg on the bar, puts his foot in my face, and he says, shut the up. Because I'm not available, he didn't want to hear anything else out of my mouth, period. And then I was really shocked then. I'm like, what is going on? Like, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. I've never, ever stayed at a lodge or a guest house where I was treated this way from the get-go. And I mean, I haven't even stayed there yet because I've only been there a few hours. And I've only, been in this guy's presence for 30 minutes at this point. My friend is gone. I'm sitting there by myself. And then I got up from the bar and I moved and I went and sat at a table on the beach because I just needed to get my composure and really understand what just happened. Like, what is going on here? I don't know if I want to be because this is insane. So as I'm sitting there trying to get my composure, just cool down, calm down, the next thing I know is there's a big knife right at my throat, and it's a massive knife, and I felt something against my throat, and I look down and I see the knife, and his head's right here, and as he's holding the knife there, I looked at him and I was like, oh, what, you're gonna slice my throat now? And he looked at me, he's like, yeah, I am. And I'm like, whoa, like, this is crazy. And then suddenly he just switched and he puts the knife down and he says, you know where your room is, right? And I was like, yeah, I know where my room is. And then he walks off, and then I start crying because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on? This guy just held a knife to my throat. Now he's threatening my life, like, all because I'm not available. And I'm sorry, as a woman, or any human being for that matter, you own your body. It is your body. You do not have to let anyone ever pressure you into, you know, being available for them. You don't have to be available for anyone. You know, protect your body. So there is no way on earth anyone should ever make you feel like less than, or threaten your life, or completely disrespect you because, you know, you have boundaries. Anyway, so I'm crying at this point because I'm like so stressed, and I'm like, what is going on? This is absolutely crazy, and I've never had anyone threaten my life like that before, holding a knife to my throat, especially not the owner of a guest house I'm supposed to be staying at. So anyway, I go to my room to get my composure, and I'm telling my friend what happened, and he can't believe it. And I told my friend, I'm not staying here. I have to leave. I'm not staying here. I have to go. I didn't want the lodge owner to know I was leaving. I was like, just, you know, go talk to him, do whatever you need to do. I need to get out of here. So when they were busy talking on the beach, I went straight over to one of the guys who works for him, and I was like, please, you need to call me a taxi right now. I need to leave. Your boss just held a knife to my throat. I need to leave. And he's like, what? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I can't believe he did that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm just like, I'm an emotional wreck. And I'm like, it's fine. I just need to go. And I don't want him to know because I don't need any more trouble. I do not want this guy freaking out at me. When the motorbike taxi arrived, the owner seen that it was here, and then he comes over and starts getting angry at me, like, what, you're leaving and all this stuff? And I'm like, yes, I'm leaving. And he's like, why are you leaving? Like, because you just held a knife to my throat. That's why I'm leaving. And then, you know, he's asking me where I'm going. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. You just need to stay away from me because you just held a knife to my throat and threatened my life after you put your foot in my face. And after you're asking who the F am I, like when you got there, like, I'm just leaving. So then he says to me, well, can we go over there and talk alone for a minute? And I said, no. Like, you just held a knife to my throat. I have nothing else to say to you. That's end of discussion. I'm getting out of here. So then he starts getting mad at me, and I pulled out my phone and started recording because I knew the only way to get him to be quiet was to start recording. So as soon as I pulled out my phone and started recording, he's like, oh, you're YouTubing now? So then he jumps in front of the camera, and then he tries to take my camera away, and you can see his hand over the camera. And then I told him, like, to get his hands off of my stuff, like, just leave me alone. So then he's like, okay, fine. He's like, you know what? Can I give you a piece of advice? Next time, enjoy the effing moment. And I was like, what? What moment? Enjoy having someone holding a knife to my throat? Like, next time, if that ever happens again, which I sure the heck hope it doesn't, I'm supposed to sit there and be like, oh, well, let me just take this all in. Let me just enjoy the moment. And maybe they're going to pull it, and then that's the end of me. I'm sorry. I just need to get on this bike and go. So anyway, I leave and I go to the other guest house where I ended up staying. There was only girls staying there, which was pretty amazing. By the time I got there, I had my composure. I was calm, and I went and like sat with the girls to say hello, introduce myself and all this. And I said nothing about what happened because I was thinking, first I was trying to comprehend everything that just happened. Second, I mean, I'm not from here. It's a small island. I was thinking, I'm not here to like cause trouble. I'm not here to like start anything. I don't know who's friends with who. I don't know anything at this point. I'm just like, okay, just trying to be calm, chatting with them. And you know, at this point it's 7 p.m. and the girls were like, why did you get here so late? Like, why are you checking in at 7 p.m.? And like, why did you leave so-and-so's place? And some of you might say, like, you know, you should say his name, and it's a small place. If you really want to find out, everybody in Malawi knows about it pretty much. And a lot of you also might be thinking, why didn't you go to the police? You should have went to the police. This crossed my mind, but at the end of the day, I mean, there was no marks on me. What am I going to do? It's going to be like, well, if I have some money, maybe I could do something about it, but that's going to be very expensive. And when there's no marks on me or nothing, really, I thought that was going to be a dead end. So to me, that also seemed pointless. They were asking why I got there so late, and I was just saying, you know, oh, this and that, but didn't say what happened. The next day, there was some live music at one of the other guest houses. All the girls were going, so I figured, you know, me and the girls would go. There was three girls, and as we were getting ready to go, then it started sinking in. I mean, I didn't want to see him again. I did not want to run into this guy because, you know, even in the morning, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was traumatized. For sure I was traumatized. It took me like a few days just to like digest what happened. But I finally had to tell the girls because we're going to go and probably see him there, and it's a small place. And so I told them what happened, and I was like, I really don't want to see him. I don't want problems. Like, this is just crazy that this even happened. And so, you know, and they said, yeah, like they know who he is, and people know he's a little like crazy, but not that crazy, that's for sure. Nobody could believe it went like to that extreme. But they said, don't worry, like, you know, we got your back. And that's what I love about girls. Girls, we always got each other's back. And so they were like, he's not going to come near you, don't worry, we're not going to let that happen. And yeah, so he was there, and he came up to say hi to the girls. They stood right in front of me to block me off so that he couldn't talk to me. And he asked one of the girls, he's like, oh, so you're still alive? And she's like, yeah, why? And he's like, well, you didn't get your throat slit? And she was like, no, but I heard you're trying to do that to people. And he said, yeah, normally I just do it to cats and dogs, but you know, she's a YouTuber. I'm like, okay. Then she just said to him, well, you better stay away from her. And he's like, don't worry, I will. And then he left not long after that. Thank goodness. So I was able to just relax and enjoy the evening. Throughout the week, I mean, I was getting messages, like, that's a small country. I was getting messages from people all over Malawi, people that I know in a long way, everything like, we heard what happened. Everyone knows who he is because he's lived there for years. He started a couple other guest houses that he sold before this one. So everyone knows who he is. And yeah, news is spreading like wildfire, and nobody can believe this. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, how is this happening to me? I just wanted to come and enjoy myself. And I'm also hearing how he's telling people that, you know, I'm just some 24-year-old little and yeah, when I heard this, I was like, wow, thank you. Like, 24 was a long time ago. I'm in my 30s now, but I'll take it. I've been called worse things in my life. I will take that. My last night there, I ran into him, and I was just trying to be calm, cool, and collected because I like to be very level. I don't make scenes. Again, like I said, I can just get over things easily. This one was still, I was traumatized from it still, but I was like fine just being like, whatever, just stay away from me. And then later on in the evening, he came up to me and he said he wanted to apologize. And I said, okay, thank you. And he's like, you know, I know we were both really messed up. And I was like, I was not messed up. I had a little tiny bowl of vodka. I was having one cocktail on the beach. I was not messed up. I just got off the ferry. And then he said, okay, I'm trying to apologize here. I'm like, okay, thank you. And I appreciate that. But don't try and like gaslight me or put this on me that this was my fault, that you stuck your foot in my face and held a knife to my throat, because it wasn't. Yeah, so crazy. Oh, and actually, let me say one more thing. There was a guy staying at his guest house, and before he apologized to me, this guy who was staying at his guest house, obviously he was treating him very well and being a great host. This guy had come up to me and been like, oh, so it was you, he held the knife to your throat and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah. And then he says to me, well, you must have done something to deserve it, didn't you? And I was like, excuse me? Sorry, I did something to deserve it? First and foremost, if me like being physically available for someone makes me deserve to be treated like that and to have my life threatened, then like, what is this world coming to? But again, what I had to say is like, unless I'm, you know, threatening his life or trying to rob him or something, and he has to act in self-defense, there is absolutely nothing on earth I could have done as a guest at his guest house to deserve that. So there's you don't just hold knives to people's throat. Anyway, so back to him trying to apologize. So yeah, I'm also in public. Of course I appreciate the apology. Does that make it better that he put his foot in my face and held a knife to my throat? No, but I'm a civil person, and okay, I just want to move on with it. And then, you know, he goes on saying, admitting that it's because I wasn't available and that's why he did it, and it's too bad because we could have really enjoyed each other and enjoyed the beach and all of this. As if, I'm sorry, as if I would. First of all, that's not how I roll in life. Second of all, even if that was how I rolled, you put your foot in my face and held a knife to my throat. Is that your tactic on getting women? Because, buddy, I really think he needs to rethink his tactics. I mean, that's not the most romantic gesture to try and get a woman. And then anyway, he proceeded to say he was so sorry he would kiss my feet. And I was like, you know, you don't have to do that. And he was like, I will literally get on my hands and knees and I will kiss your feet. That's how sorry I am. I'm like, nope, really? Don't need to do that. So he got all down on his hands and knees and he licked the top of my foot. And I gotta tell you, I don't know what was more traumatizing, him licking the top of my foot or him holding the knife to my throat. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Anyway, not long after that, my friends came and like, Petrena, we're taking Petrena away from you, we're going. And we got out of there and left. You know, it's great when people apologize and own up for what they did, and I appreciate that. Does that make it okay? No. Does that make it all better? No. He did say he doesn't know why that aggression came out on me. He doesn't know why he had to project that onto me, because that never happened with anyone before, so he really didn't understand why it was me. In my experience in life, because I'm always a very happy and positive and smiley person, that can be taken for weakness, and so people will test me or people will try out that behavior on me because they think I'm weak because I'm always happy and positive. But the thing about that is I'm not weak, and the minute someone is going to cross the line or threaten my life or completely insult me like that, I will stand my ground and I will stand up for myself. And I think anyone should do that. If someone is threatening you, if someone is, you know, insulting you and degrading you like that, you have every right to stand up for yourself and get out of there. Don't stay there. Don't stay around those situations, because if you give someone who's doing that type of behavior to you the opportunity of, you know, doing it again, they will. So the best thing is just to cut that out and get out of there and stay as far away from that type of behavior as you possibly can. I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. And this goes down in history books for one of the craziest travel experiences of my life. Yep. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for listening. Thanks for watching. Remember, when life gets tough, you can get through it. I love you all so much, and I'll see you soon.